Hi, Rylee. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I don't know if you know this right now. I've only published one episode. So this could very much be our second episode of the How She's Doing It podcast. Awesome. And you're my first guest. So
well, I am truly so excited. I can't even tell you, when you reached out to me, I was like, this is real. Like, your business really starts picking up, feeling real. Like me, I've listened to podcasts forever. So it's like, I'm going to be on a podcast. You know, I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I'm going to be on a podcast. They're official. They're real. They make, you know, people listen and love them. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I completely agree. It's like you gain another notch in your authority belt. Like I'm being recognized. So yeah, that's totally true. And I think that's behind a lot of the reasons why people start podcasts is to also gain that authority. So wonderful. Well, we met in a Yoto community group where you put out a call looking for a specific thing. You needed content that wasn't going to break the bank. And as much as we love all of these books that are provided by the company and these podcasts, it's also nice to customize it to our needs. And Yoto is really great at giving us that opportunity. Yeah. So we have the make your own cards, and you wanted to do something specifically with those, right?
Yeah. So after I bought these Yoto players for my kids and my nieces and nephews, I was like, I'm going to go big for them and buy this. Well, after that, I realized how expensive it was to buy the actual Yoto cards, which we love and we use all the time, but we wanted more content. Our kids, my kids, their kids wanted to listen to this content for hours every day, you know, and it was such a great use of their time to get them off of the screen, first of all, which is a huge reason why the Yoto's popular. And then also like give them imaginative play.
I think that's part of the reason why it's so attractive to the homeschool networks is it's screen free and there's a lot of material that you can use for education.
Yeah. So with that, I started reading books from other authors and recording myself reading it for personal use, you know, for my kids, for my nieces and nephews, which you can't distribute that content, but that's not what my goal was. After that, I was like, hey, I can write books. I can write little poems. I can have fun with that. It's, you know, I'm a creative person naturally.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
We in a club here.
Yes, for sure. So I was like, I can do this. And how fun would it be for them to have stories from their mom and from their aunts, whatever. I started writing some stuff and recording it. Then I started doing like the games and activities realm where kids could play Simon Says, kids can play Would You Rather, this or that. Games that could get them interact and let them have fun while listening as well. I mean, we're talking the next steps of this business took off a week here. So after that happened, when I'm like, you know, writing my own stuff, I would literally overnight was like, I know other moms need this stuff. It's not just me. It's not just my sister, not just my sister-in-law who, you know, just got these players. It's an issue. Like people want affordable content. People want different content. I know like the Draw With Me cards are so popular, but they're expensive and limited in the Yoto community. You know, Yoto can only put out so much at a time because they're a massive company. I can help kind of fill that little gap that's needed in that realm. That quickly, once again, turned into me creating and recording that kind of content. And then once again, almost overnight, maybe even that same day, like a little light bulb went off. And I was like, but I can also share other people's content. And that's kind of where you found me. I was reaching out, to other people who want to share their creative geniuses because I'm only one person. And as much as I am creative, I'm not as creative as a lot of people in our whole world. So how can I reach out to others and see if they want to share their work with the world?
Wow.
Yeah. It's something that I've always really wanted was to help others. And so I feel like I am. And it's such a fun experience. You know, not only am I helping the Yoto customers, which obviously that's like end goal, I'm helping all of these other small businesses along the way. I'm working with another mom who I found on a Yoto page. I'm working with a little old lady from my community that I reached out in like my community Facebook page and was like, hey, does anybody write stories? Does anybody write books? Does any, where are your like genius? Like I said, like, does anybody have that in our community? I'd love to share your work.
That's how you got my attention.
Yeah. The sweetest little old lady was like, hey, I've been writing stories my whole life.
Oh,
I'd love to share. Like, we've helped each other along this process. And so she really, she was like one of my first contractors that I've worked with. She said yes to me and I said yes to her. And so like we have become a partnership in working together. How fun is that to like be able to bring other people's work into light, people who deserve it. Like I said, there's so many talented people and there's amazing classic books out there, but there are so many people who deserve that light and their work is just as amazing. So
wow.
I don't know, I'm so passionate about it.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And I love that the next generation, I mean, there's so much comfort in hearing a grandmother read books. Like that is just, as a mom, I'm like, oh, I want that. So let me just get this straight. This was a Christmas present. So December 25th. It is barely the end of January. Like we're at the 28th. So in a month, you had this idea, you went after it, you launched it. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
No, it's been crazy. And I kind of had no words. So the idea first popped into my head December 17th. We're talking just over a month ago when I was like, hey, maybe someone else would like the fact that I'm making stuff. That's when that idea like first even came to my mind. And then, definitely since then, it's been a little bit busy, obviously. I also work a full-time job.
What do you do?
I am a process manager for a big grocery retailer.
Oh, so, hey.
Yeah.
We know that life very well over here.
Yeah. So like straight up corporate America, working in a cubicle, living the high life over there.
Possibly in a year, you're going to be able to say, I left corporate America and...
That's what's going to happen. Let's be real.
Oh, yes, it 100% is. No, that's going to happen. That is so cool.
Yeah.
So do you have any plans of repurposing the content that you're making for the Yoto into things like a YouTube channel or a podcast?
For sure. So one of the, I've had a couple of thoughts, how can I, like you said, repurpose that content, with a podcasting is also super popular among the Yoto community, and having an entire library of content.
Right.
Allows you to kind of pick and pull using that other content and putting it together into an episode or something for people to listen to.
Yeah.
If the Yoto community will know this well, but like Yoto Daily is a huge popular podcast. And that's like, what they do. They source their content from their current bank of content. So, and that's essentially what I'm doing is I'm creating a library of audio content for people. Cool. So that's definitely in the, year-long plan. And with YouTube, so I've started a YouTube more so like for back-end work, how to upload a content to a Myo card and everything.
Which I would be one of those people that was totally searching that because I needed that.
Yeah. And there's a lot of them out there already, but what's one more? First of all, I think there's power in community and having more than one option because people learn differently from every person.
And so for me, what I really liked about the Yoto was the option to do the make your own, because I knew when we bought it, just by looking at what they had on their site, they had no Christian content. And I really wanted that. I wanted to be able to add like a Bible to it for my 5-year-old is who we got it for Christmas.
Yeah.
That was my main goal was I wanted to add like Bible stories so that she gets kind of that extra little attention. And when they didn't have that, I was like, okay, I just got to buy a bunch of make your own cards and then somehow get these onto there. Like I have to download an audiobook, which I have not done yet. The only thing I've added so far is podcast. And so I know that that's going to be exactly what I'm looking for as a mom in the Yoto community.
I've already been able to share that video with a few people who are like, I'm kind of desperate. I really want to do this. Yeah, I really want to do this, but I'm struggling. And it is, a learning curve. You don't just know how to do it. And I mean, the directions aren't the clearest. So
I mean, shout out to Yoto because they really are awesome. We promise. You're awesome.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. We wouldn't be talking about this if we didn't love Yoto so much.
Yeah. Have you looked into some of the other screen-free players out there and seen if you can make content for them as well? I don't know if they're set up the same way.
I believe like the Tony player.
I think that's right.
I looked into that too when I first started looking. Obviously, I think that's the rabbit hole everyone goes down, right? Tony or Yoto. And first of all, the cards being small was a huge selling point for the Yoto. Yeah. And
instead
also
of a
like
big toy.
Yeah. Like, okay, I have a 2.5-year-old. She would love those toys, but they would get lost.
Yeah, we have a 1-year-old, same thing.
Yeah, like you can't take those in your car very easily. There were so many reasons why I'm like, Yoto is the way for us.
Being able to make your own cards and have that ability.
Hi everyone, my name is Delana Green and I am here to help you save time and grow your business in an emotionally sustainable way. I'm an entrepreneur, podcast host, mom of 3, and business coach. I started my business with 19 years old with $0 in the bank, and it is my family's main source of income today. I know what it takes to build a successful business from the ground up, and more importantly, how to do it without burning yourself out. You are not going to want to miss this content, so make sure to tap that subscribe and that little like button so that YouTube and you will tell business owners around the world about my channel. Now, let's get started.
You're talking about remaking content or repurposing content for the other Screen Free players.
Yes, I believe Tony players can also use the MP3 tracks. So I haven't really dove into that realm too much because I know the need for Yoto so well, and I'm living that need.
Yeah. And I mean, this has been a month that you've gone after this, that you've went from idea to launching the business. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Like, hats off to you, lady. That's why I kind of wanted to reach out to you, because when we first started talking, you had literally just asked that question of, hey, does anyone make content for kids? And I was like, I do. Yeah. And then with Greenhouse Music, how's it going? And then we talked and you told me about what you were creating, and I was already perked up because I'm like, this was something that I had thought of as like a business, but I didn't see how it could happen. But I knew that there was a need, but I was like in my own I'm feeling my own needs right now. What you did was you saw the need, you lived the need, like you had gone through it. Yeah. You came up with the solve for it, and then you launched it, and now you're solving other moms' problems with the gaps that are being missed. So there is absolutely, there's absolutely a market for this 100%, especially since I think the Yoto is only like 5 years old. It's a newer company.
Yeah, it's a newer company to begin with. I mean, this whole idea is a newer company.
Yeah. So like you are going to be one of the first people out there making their own content for these Screen-Free players outside of Yoto itself. And outside of so cool.
Yeah. It's so funny because one of the things they say, like, this is not my first business that I've started. We are on business. Get ready. Okay. Business number 7. Woo! 7 businesses. Okay. Have all of those other ones dissolved into thin air? Absolutely. And purposely, because they did not align with just your future,
Yeah, your future. Absolutely. That's important.
And so, 7 businesses later, I'm feeling aligned. I'm feeling like every other business that I've started from, the 6 other businesses before this have put me in this place. So I think that's one of the reasons why I was able to kind of start so quickly, is because I've done it before multiple times. I've gone through the entire process that, January 6th, my LLC was filed, got my business bank account set up. Like, I was able to move quickly because it wasn't my first time doing it.
That's so cool. My first episode, the premiere episode of this podcast is called The First Pancake. If you haven't already listened to it, if you're a listener right now, you need to go and listen to that, because we have someone who's gone through a couple of the first pancakes, and she is now rocking it in a complete, you are a trailblazer in this niche. People don't, business owners don't always get that ability, and they don't always have that opportunity, and you do. And that's so cool to me. Cool.
I'm not even kidding. Like, this is going to sound so dramatic, but I have the chills because it's
yes, I get it.
It's so true. Like I said, I've started 6 other businesses, and you have to just keep looking for that thing that you feel aligned with, that you feel good about, that it starts to click, and you're
gives you chills.
That's not my thing. Yeah, that's not my thing. That's what I've been able to do with these past 6 businesses, where I'm like, I thought that was going to be my thing. It turns out it's not. But the amount that I've learned every single time is insane. Like, my motto
this is the perfect second episode. I am so excited. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for saying that. Oh my gosh. My word, thinking back to everything that I've done has been persistence. Just keep going. It doesn't matter if it's failed. It doesn't matter if it failed. I truly do not believe any of my businesses have failed.
No,
ever.
It's not a failure.
I never, I've definitely had friends like, oh, there she goes, starting another business. And I'm like, yep, this is what what I like to do, guys. Like, I love
relate
it.
to that
Yeah.
so much.
I love it. And yeah, so like, just keep trying,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like find something that feels good and just keep going for it.
Aw.
That's just, I think that's how you end up winning. And like I
Yeah.
said, I felt like I've won with every one of my businesses. So you always will come out if you're trying, if you're doing, you know, what you think feels right, even if it doesn't end up being like the world's best business like ever, you're learning, you're growing, you're doing, you're expanding, you're
you're creating a virtual library and audio engineering, these content, these books, these podcasts, like you're taking those and you're creating a virtual library. That's no easy task. And so all of the things that you're learning from this, it's just going to compound upon itself too.
Yeah.
With everything that you learned. How has this impacted your family, this particular business? And how have you seen it? Like, I mean, you have kids, how have they liked your content that you've made? Have you been able to include them in any of the recording?
Not a ton, to be honest, for that last question, because my daughter is 2.5 years old.
Oh, that's right. All right.
Yeah. I will say, I will say, as far as like using a lot of my content so far, other than the cute little books that I've and written and read, my 2.5-year-old has loved those, obviously, because they're called like Punkin' Dunkin' Doodle Doo, and they're like,
it's so cute.
Silly
so
little
cute.
books, you know. But as far as like the
adorable.
games and activities, like I said, like Would You Rather, Simon Says, I really wrote those initially and like kind of had that idea for my nieces and nephews. They range from like 3 to 12 years old. So they're like right in that realm of like wanting that content. And my sister, she is a homeschooler. And so she's at home with her kids all day. The Yoto is like the perfect accessory to homeschooling. You can put so much educational content on there. You know, I really started this like additional content with them in mind. So like my family, my extended family.
Right.
As far as like the business with my kids, you know, normally I'm working on it between 8:30 p.m. and 11 p.m.
That's when you have to do it.
In bed.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's my like hobby time. That's my me time. And this is the kind of stuff I like to do.
That's such a zinger because, you know, podcast is called How She's Doing It. That's how Rylee is doing it. She's doing it between 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. every single night. That's how she's doing it.
You bet.
I love that. That is awesome.
I'm starting a business that, you know, really feels aligned and feels like something that I could grow into something that's more.
You know, I just told my husband about this because when we got married, I had the previous year finished a short-term program at a film school, and I was planning on us getting married and going down to Atlanta or Los Angeles and pursuing acting. And I'm like, I could take my music business anywhere, like whatever. I want to do this. This is what we want to do. God has other plans for us, of course. And I had the busiest year when it came to like film, acting, theater projects, directing, all of that, right before we had our first baby. And we had her, and I started feeling the shift in my heart. Okay, we're not going to LA. Like we decided that we want to build our family here. I continued to do acting stuff here, continued to do a little bit of production and voice acting. I mentioned that, and continued my business. But I'll tell you what, when I launched this second tier, this expansion, I say expansion in quotation, like quotes, because it's not been an expansion. It's been an entirely new business as far as the amount of work, you put into it. But I told my husband recently that there is something so powerful that I'm feeling right now, and I can see it in you as well. And that's that feeling you get when you're like, I am doing exactly what I'm supposed to do right now, or I'm on the path to what I'm meant for. And it's crazy. It's crazy, but it's there.
This feels right to me. Like this has been good and it's been fun and I see the potential behind it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
So yeah, it's so true. Oh my gosh. I like totally relate to that feeling.
Yeah. No, I can see it. I can see it all over you. She is glowing if you're listening to this.
You guys,
She's glowing.
Just glowing.
It's not pregnancy, we promise.
It's not.
It's the business glow,
It's
the
the business.
entrepreneurial glow.
they
That's going to be
say,
the title of the episode.
Yeah.
The business
They
glow.
say like starting a business is like having a baby. So
It
here
really
I am,
is.
guys.
Yes.
I'm launching, I'm glowing. I am still losing my hair from my 7-month-old though.
I think
so
we all
just
are.
don't look at that.
And I mean, as we wrap up, I just want to say, like, thank you for being able to, I messaged you yesterday, like less than 12 hours ago. And I'm like, hey, you want to do this? Because that's the kind of person that I am. I'm a pantser. I'm not a planner. So
I love it. Because here I am,
yeah.
like, never done a podcast before. So okay, let's do it. Because that's
Please
also
tell
how
me
I
that
am.
you have done theater before, because your little eyes, the doe-eyed look, you had that down right now. Oh my goodness. I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship.
I know. I love it. I
like
love this conversation.
We bonded over here. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Well,
truly have loved it.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm happy that you were able to give our listeners such good tidbits and things to think about and mull over. And you gave me a wonderful episode 2 for my podcast. So I'm thankful for that too.
And so grateful for the opportunity. So thank you. And thank you to all your listeners for wanting to listen to me, which is
How can we find out more about what you do?
Yeah. So Mama Bear Audio, which Mama, I know there's a lot of different mama spellings, so I'm going to spell it out. This is one of those things I'm like, second thought, interesting. The MOMMA, bearaudio.com. And then also at Instagram, my Facebook page, my Facebook group is also Mama Bear Audio. That's where I give a lot of like freebies every month. Join the Facebook. I also take suggestions in there for audio that other people want, because one of the reasons I'm doing this is to provide audio that everybody else wants and like needs. So that's something I like to do in that group. It's a good community. So, but yeah, awesome. Mama Bear Audio everywhere.
Yeah, check out Mama Bear Audio. Thank you, Rylee Soper.
Okay.
Don't forget that in the show notes, you will find a link to the Yoto player. This is an awesome player that my family has really been enjoying. And I think that there's lots of families out there that can enjoy it too. Thank you for listening. Here's the outro. Bye. Hey, thanks for checking out the How She's Doing It podcast. Please leave a review or share on social media and check out the other content that we have on our YouTube channel. If you really want to help us, getting the word out is the best way to do so. So leave a thumbs up, a like, subscribe for notifications, and share it. Until next time, you keep doing it.